Welcome to Headlocks, Heels, and Havoc, the wildest mixed tag team in podcasting where the kayfabe drops and the chaos takes over. Let's ring the damn bell.
Headlock tight, heels on the prowl, dropping elbows, hearing growl, feel the foul. No script here, just real, no bluff. Kayfabe crack, now the dirt gets rough. Headlocks, heels, havoc in the zone. Stepping in the ring, chaos at your home. No filters, no mask, just raw bare tone. Wrestling unscripted, we on the throne. Title belts, mic checks, crowd going crazy. Drop truth bombs, leaving lines feeling hazy. Beyond the kayfabe, past the charade, where legends are born and stories get made. Headlocks popping, who's hitting the mat? Welcome to the havoc where the real talk's at. Tune in, step through, leave the fake at the door. Headlocks, heels, havoc, now hear the roar.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I am 1/3 of the greatest mixed tag team in podcasting history, the legend J-Mac. With me, as always, is everybody's favorite uncle, Uncle Slam.
What's up?
And the first lady of podcast wrestling, the Vipers.
Hi, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be discussing a little lighter topic. We did an episode on Hulk Hogan last week, and that was a pretty tough episode to get through. I think he was a hero to a lot of us in our childhoods and everything. So, still keeping him and his family in our prayers. But I did find this out, and I'm sorry, we didn't do this on the recap episode. I don't mean to go here, but I just found out too that in his autopsy report, it was never revealed to the public that he battled leukemia.
Really?
Yes.
That's kind
And
of.
that-
Did he even know?
Yeah. Yeah, he was
Okay.
he got treatment for it and everything, but like he just kept it out of the public and everything, kept it
I
private.
can understand why.
Yeah, I mean
That's
it's
very personal.
yeah, but I mean that's they said that kind of played into it too and everything. So I mean, regardless of why or what, the Hulkster ain't here with us no more. So keep his family in your prayers. And I was glad to hear that him and his daughter kind of reconciled a little bit before he passed and everything. So, good things all,
Did they
came out
see?
of
'Cause
that.
I thought I heard that like she rejected the like
Yeah, I
$25
heard
million
that.
like
It was
inheritance
a
or some shit.
It was a semi.
Took herself out of the wheel.
She didn't. Yeah, that's what it was. She just took herself out of the will. She didn't reject any inheritance that he may have left her. But there was also reports that like he hid money and stuff and everything. So I don't know. I don't want to get into all that. I just I know that there was a kind of a soft, reconnection there before he passed away. It wasn't anything, they talked a few times from what I read and what Brooke said and everything. I've been reading some of her stuff on Instagram and stuff, and she's been paying a whole lot of tributes to him and stuff. So I just want to say, good stuff came from that. But today we are going to be concentrating on a little lighter subject so that, we can get away from the bad stuff for a little while. And we are going to concentrate on the greatest heel turns in wrestling history, and I know there's tons of them. I went back and looked through a list. We've got like Paul Bearer turning on the Undertaker, Paul Orndorff turning on Hulk Hogan. I had never seen this one, but I went back and watched a few clips of it, and it was actually a really good story. Was Larry Zbyszko turning on Bruno Sammartino back in the day?
I've seen that one too.
Yeah, it was a pretty good little story and everything. I'm not gonna lie. They had Triple H turning on DX.
Well, Shawn Michaels, right? Or are you talking about?
Well,
DX?
no, when he turned on DX and he came out and everybody thought he was going to help X-Pac in that match against Shane McMahon for the European Championship, and he ended up pedigreeing X-Pac and joining the corporation.
Okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the time, like they thought they were going to make a comeback. He threw him the shirt, told him to come out to the ring. They come
that
out,
was the other one.
They got the DX shirts on. They're like, "Are you ready?" And Shawn's posing. Next thing you know, he kicks him, pedigrees his ass, and
two of the most infamous heel turns, and was Brett and Sergeant Slaughter both going anti-American.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, the
you
Iron
know,
Sheik and
Yes,
Sergeant Slaughter.
yeah,
Man,
Sergeant
like
Slaughter. Yeah.
I remember that shit. Motherfuckers were really pissed because
when
that was
he
back
was
during
when he was
the Iraq
Colonel
War, I think it
Mustafa.
was.
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
Oh God.
he was an Iraqi sympathizer, man. People were like
Hmm.
sending him death threats
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. You know, it was
And that
He
crazy.
was
was
during
brave to
all
play
that
that shit.
stuff over the Middle
Yeah,
East too.
Desert
So it just
Storm.
it intensified that. Like they said that he even had to wear like a bulletproof vest because people were threatening
Yeah,
to shoot and kill him
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
over a
crazy. Yeah.
character. Like
yeah.
that's
That's crazy.
insanity to me.
That's how much people loved their wrestling back in the day, or
Uh,
wrestling,
well,
whatever you
I
want to
mean,
call it.
that's also
no,
to show you
patriotic
how
more
good
than
of a
anything.
heel he
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, cause he sold that shit. Like
Well,
people
not
were,
only that, but and I think more with Sarge, it was more of he was GI Joe. He
yeah,
Right.
literally was the
yep,
real life GI Joe.
true, so true.
Was the real life GI Joe. He was just like Hulk, and Hacksaw Duggan. They were
Yeah,
all American guys that win, lose or draw, they're going to go out there and fight for the USA. Blah blah
exactly.
Right.
blah. And then next thing you know, he's over there
They're
saying
fighting for
Saddam Hussein's great and they need to get it. And it
the
was like, what? I was like,
Hmm.
oh crap.
kidding.
Like,
Yeah,
talk about pushing some buttons. And then there's, the ones that you never think that are going to happen, but sometimes they kind of, I don't know, show us that it's going to happen, but then there's the ones that don't happen, like tag team breakups and turns, like Scott Steiner turning on Rick Steiner. I
Mhm.
never thought he ever would.
I never
That's
thought
his
that either. Especially
brother.
they being brothers and stuff. And then of
Right.
course joining the damn NWO. I'm like, everybody joined the fucking NWO. Shit.
Yeah, we talk about that all the time. Everybody
what,
was in the NWO.
what's on your resume? I was in the NWO. You're the
Oh
camera
my
guy.
God,
I
I'm gonna
know.
start.
I was in the NWO.
I know. I'm like, shit.
Former
It's
member of
crazy.
NWO.
But
That's so
yeah,
funny.
so Vipers, we'll start with you ladies first. Give us a couple of your favorite heel turns. We'll kind of dive into them a little bit.
Well, obviously, we're just gonna go ahead and get the big one for me out of the way. Let's see, my
I
Of
man
was
back
gonna
here.
wonder
course,
if you were going to say that one because that's
the
the
Oh
first
yeah,
thing on
that's
my
my top
mind.
one.
Yeah,
That's my
yeah.
top one, obviously, because
What is it?
and like then at the time that all of that happened, I didn't understand wrestling the way that I do now because it
Uh-huh.
happened so long ago. But like the fact that the things that did happen, like I know everybody's seen Jeff get, like the pyro in the face and all over. That was
Mm.
pretty terrifying to me. Like honestly, like I didn't know at the time if that was real or if it was storyline or what. It was just crazy to me in general. And then he was ran off the road, and then to find out the fact that it was Matt doing all of that, and it's his brother because he's all whatever. It just that
jealous
was
up in his
probably
feels,
Yeah.
as the
jealous.
youngsters say, in his feels.
Yeah, all in his feels because he wasn't get. I don't know. I don't even know his reasoning. I feel like that Matt's just the biggest, star as Jeff is. I just prefer Jeff,
But
but
see, I
it's just
think your
crazy to
number
me.
one pick with the Hardys just justifies what I was saying. I personally
Yeah,
think the best heel turns come from tag
from
teams.
family
Oh
or
You
yeah,
tag
know,
teams.
bro.
Yeah,
tag team, because what would have happened had Hawk turned on Animal. And I think they kind of
Yeah.
did try to do that at one point in time. But
Yeah.
you see what I'm saying? How monumental would that have been if the Road Warriors would have been fighting at, Starcade or something like that? Because they had,
hmm
a disagreement and they split the Road Warriors up. Road Warriors just too smart to say, no, we make too much money as a team. There's no
Well,
sense.
yeah,
We
exactly.
ain't
And shit.
splitting this up.
hmm
There's no guarantees as a single competitor. We know what we do as a team, so we'll stick with what we
Exactly.
know.
right.
But I just think, like, that's me. I think the best heel turns come from tag teams because a lot of tag teams, like you said, are families. So
hmm
you can throw that family element into it and be like, oh look, I'm turning.
It's
Not only
deeper
am I
than just
turning on
storyline.
on my partner, you know, because it's not just the guy I've been on the road with that I call my brother. It's literally my brother,
My
My
family,
brother.
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, or
And you're
my
not
Blood.
supposed to turn on
cousin.
family. So
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It's the people like you know you don't expect. So I could definitely see why you would say that because it's like you know you never think your brother's going to turn on you. You never think
Right.
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's why it's more shocking.
No, I 1000% agree. I feel like that's the reason why that one's my top. Not just the fact that it's Jeff and Matt Hardy, but like it was really shocking just the things that were happening. He was like something happened in a hotel too. So like I mean it went on for like 3 months before it came out that it was Matt Hardy,
Oh
and
yeah,
so
it
it was
went on
just
for a while. They play.
it was
I
crazy
remember it. It happened. The story in and of
for a
itself was
long
pretty
time.
good.
Yeah, it was just shocked the hell out of me.
I
Like
just
no.
Yeah, you don't even know. Yeah, I don't even want to get there. I don't even want to go there for that one.
she had that slow movie, you know, when something's falling and stuff. She saw the chair just slowly
Oh,
coming in, and the whole
oh,
time
it
she's
was
just
terrible.
running at her TV, going,
No.
"No!"
Don't
Yeah.
do
And I
it.
don't do, yeah, the don't do it. And then as soon as he did it, she had that, "You bastard!"
You
I get
bastard.
too emotional over wrestling for real. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I would get emotional, but every time I jump up and yell and everything anymore, even with football or basketball or anything, I end up pulling something. So I just
I
learned to
do
sit on the
too.
couch and scream at the refs and just yell at them and
That's
tell
so
them how
funny.
dumb they are and stuff. You know, they missed this, they missed that. So what's your second favorite?
My second one would probably be, and I did a guy one, so me being a girl, I did a girl one too.
Okay.
Stephanie McMahon's heel turn when she turned on Vince and it
I had that on
became,
my
right?
list.
Yep, I saw
Yeah,
that
Nobody
one. So
expected that. Nobody
yeah.
no,
expected that.
because I mean she's daddy's little girl,
She was
Mhm.
innocent
you know what I
little
mean?
Stephanie until she got with Triple H. And
Yeah.
once it was revealed that they were together and they weren't, it wasn't she's trying to get away from him and stuff like that. Once they
Like
revealed that
she'd
they
been
were
planning it for
masterminds,
months.
she went from being the little sweet, innocent little, you know, girl to
hmm
Stephanie
But
McMahon
see,
executive,
can
you
you
know.
blame her heel turn though? Can you blame her?
It
Look at
made
all the
Stephanie
shit that
McMahon a name.
Vince put her
Oh yeah.
through, especially after learning that he was the owner of the company and all the shit he made her go through and do and this, that, and the other. And then I learned that she's had 26, I think it was, matches, and she's not even a wrestler.
Oh
Damn.
yeah. Well, there was
So,
that one that he like the dad versus daughter match or
I
something.
remember that.
see,
Yeah,
He
that was
beat the
just
see,
weird.
snot out of her,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like
yeah. So, like, can you literally blame her heel turn? Not at all. She should have done it
I'd have,
sooner.
I'd have done
She
it just to throw a few receipts back. You
she
know what I'm
changed when
That
she got the
too.
boob job. That's what did it. Like when she got the
saying?
new boobs, that's what made her change.
As Jericho
Hey,
said,
if
she
I
is
had
the
new boobs, I
breath
would too.
woman in the WWF.
I'm serious. If I had new boobs, I would too. I would be taking over shit.
I just that one really, you know, when I was going through my list and everything, like I don't
Yeah.
ever. It's not one that I would like jumps out. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? But when you think about it, it really was a surprising heel turn because again, everybody thought that she was going to be the little sweet innocent side with, you know, the daddy and this, that, and the other. And next thing you know, boom, you know, her and Triple H are together, you know, the getting ready to hit the fan and you know, the McMahon Helmsley era started, you
Yeah.
know, basically, you know, right then and there. So yeah, that's it's definitely a good choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I wrote it down, but I didn't know if I was going to mention it
Gonna
or
talk
nothing.
about it or not?
Yeah, you did. So you know that just brought it
Yeah.
out.
No, I had to bring up a girl one too, because when you talk about heel turns, a lot of people don't talk about women heel turns.
You know, and the thing of it is because again, like we've discussed so many times, is because it's just now where they're putting the emphasis on the women and
Right.
actually putting them in decent storylines and not just, oh, you made the cover of Playboy, so I don't like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I mean,
Or
you
I'm the
know,
baddest bitch, so I
right.
should be the
Right.
champion. Shit.
Right. You know, I mean, it's not divas and this, that, and the other. It's legit wrestling with the women now. So you're getting more legit storylines. So I think the better storylines with women are going to come from nowadays, period.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And honestly and
I
truthfully,
agree.
where I don't get a chance to sit down and watch wrestling the way I want to, it just, I don't know a whole lot of the storylines that are going on with the women and stuff and everything, other than what I've learned through you watching the PLEs and Monday Night Raw and everything, and just the little bit of other stuff that I do get a chance to watch, like AEW and stuff, which honestly and truthfully, I wish somebody would get in there with AEW and do something with their storylines because the wrestling's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah,
not
can't
even
get
gonna,
past the storylines. Yeah,
and
cannot get past them.
that's the thing, man. If they
That's
would
my
get
problem.
somebody in there and let somebody freaking handle the creative, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about
Mm.
bringing like Freddie Prince Jr. in there and crap like that, like the
Right.
WWE tried to do. I'm talking about, stop
You
being
need good
stupid.
writers.
Stop hating on people like Jim Cornette and let Jim Cornette come in there and at least show you all the structure of a wrestling storyline. You know what I'm saying? Why
Mm.
you do things the certain way and in certain storylines. It doesn't even have to be him. Why are you not listening more to JR?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
I thought
JR
that's
ain't
why they brought
Steve.
him over there and shit,
No,
honestly.
he's just like an announcer for
Just an
like pay
announcer.
per views here and there, and he only does
Okay.
like half the pay per views and stuff. But I mean, that's just the thing, if somebody would get a hold of him, man, AEW would be just as good. But I don't know. That's why I don't bring up much of the women's storylines in this because as far as the modern day ones, I don't really know much of them because of not getting to watch it as much as I want to and deep diving into it. Like I like the Bailey and I'm getting tired of the Stephanie Valkyrie and stuff storyline, but it wasn't bad at first. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Mm.
I feel like it's gotten dragged along a little much. But that's my only issue with that. But I just think like as far as like historical storylines, it's just hard to pick from back in the day because
Right.
the emphasis wasn't on women back then. So you got to kind of go with today.
True.
Hmm.
So
But
that's
those are
I
my
mean,
two top favorite.
well, that's another reason why, I appreciate having you on the show and stuff is because you are bringing that, to where we know what's going on with, the other stuff that we don't get to watch and everything.
Yeah.
Plus the modern day stuff, plus the little bit that we missed in our
Right.
absence from
In
pro
the old
wrestling.
age.
It's only been a
Right.
couple hours.
Well,
So,
memories and gone.
so Uncle Slam, give us yours.
Well, see, I got the ones that I think most people are going to say are the most famous, and then I got my top famous ones. So, like, which ones do you want? Like, if
Give
you're going
us,
with the famous ones, then of
give
course
us
you're
your
going to go.
personal ones.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
and then
Yeah,
we'll leave the other
personal.
ones to the side. And you'll probably think this is weird. My first memory of a heel turn is going to be the Rockers on the Bruce Beefcake. What was it called?
Barbershop.
Barbershop.
Yep.
Because I don't remember what year that was, but I know I was a kid and I remember watching it,
I
and
want
I
to say it
love
was
the
like
Rockers.
90, 89, 90, something like that.
Might have been and shit, but I
I was
remember
a kid.
watching it, and I remember because I love the Rockers. They were high flying. It wasn't just Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels. It was the
You heard it
Rockers.
here, people. He said he loved Shawn Michaels. You
When
said
they were the
you heard it,
Rockers,
people.
when they were
You
the Rockers,
you
when
said
they were
you
the
heard it here.
Rockers,
There's a
the
difference.
Rockers.
There's a
There's a
difference.
difference because they were high flying before a lot of people were high flying, and they had, they've been having their little issues and all that shit. But when they were on there and he super kicked him and then put him through that window, I
Oh
thought
yeah.
that shit was real. Like I believe that. I was like, blood was out. I was like, oh, he fucked him up. I was like, oh my god, like
Yep.
it really traumatized me. Like, and
Right.
I was
Then
like, oh my,
he picked up the magazine and ripped it in half and everything, and just held
oh
up his
man.
page and everything.
Yeah, like now that's the one that really I would say first stands out because that's the first one like I ever remember as far as
Mhm.
like somebody turning on somebody else that was not I just didn't see it coming and
And
shit.
and again, a tag team.
Yeah, a tag team.
You know what
Now,
I'm
of
saying?
course, probably the second one I probably would go Paul Bearer and Mankind and Undertaker. You
Oh, with
know,
Paul Bearer changing and
yeah,
going over to
yeah,
Mankind. Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't see that. I did not
That
see
one
that.
I did not, and especially when he hit him with the urn and shit, and
Yes.
like I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh my god,
never seen that
nah."
coming.
Because
Yeah,
that
that.
was a big storyline. Because I remember the camera would always focus in on the urn and the dent in the
Yeah, the
urn.
dent. Yeah, see, that's what sold it for me because the
Yeah,
dent. I was like, "Oh my god, he really messed him
Damn.
up
he
and stuff."
he
Like,
really
He really
cracked
messed
him,
him up.
man. He cracked that
I
man.
was like, "Oh my god." Now, those are the first two that pop out as far as like the ones I can really remember and stuff. Um, I want to say probably recently. Like, if I was going to say, I would probably go, the whole John Cena, Cody Rhodes, but that wouldn't be my favorite. As far as now, I would probably when Seth Rollins
The
changed up on the
Shield.
Shield or whatever and shit.
That was on my
Uh
list too.
Now like that was definitely one of my, which it actually worked out for everybody because they all became world champs eventually and stuff,
I
but
was
I
gonna
just
say the
never
same
thought
thing.
that was coming. Now I'll throw one more old school. I remember when it was the Four Horsemen, but Ric Flair had split up with them, and it was Sting
Hmm.
and Ric Flair versus Art Anderson and
Pillman.
Brian Pillman. Yeah, Brian Pillman. And Sting went out first, and he was fighting, and he went to, he's battling. He finally gets back, he tags in the Ric Flair. Ric Flair's doing his little walk and shit, and then he punches Sting, and they all just gang him and shit.
But
And
you
I
know
was
what's
like,
funny?
you bitch.
There was
Go ahead.
never once when Ric Flair ever tag teamed up with anybody else against any other member of the Four Horsemen that I ever
Exactly.
believed that a swerve was not getting
That's what I'm
ready to
saying. Sting
happen.
should have knew that shit. Come on, man. That's the
The writing
Horseman.
was
Like,
on the wall the
I was
second
kind of
that he
mad at
said,
him for
yeah.
this shit. I was like, this is his group. You really think he's gonna be like, oh no, I'm gonna no, never believe that shit. Never, ever,
Right.
ever.
That shit
Um
was hilarious, man. It's like,
uh
well,
pro-
and that's the thing, it's there's so many great heel turns. Like, what about the lead? We were talking about the Road Warriors earlier. I hate calling them the Legion of Doom because they were the Legion of Doom in the WWE, but they were the Road Warriors because the Legion of Doom was a stable itself. The Legion of Doom
Yeah.
consisted of King Kong Bundy, Jake the Snake Roberts, the Road Warriors, Paul Ellering, and a few other wrestlers. The Iron Sheik was a part of the Legion of Doom. So I
Hmm.
mean, the Legion. I hate calling them Legion of Doom, but I remember when the Road Warriors turned on Dusty Rhodes and
Hmm.
put the spike into his head.
oh, see, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Damn.
they took the spike
Okay.
out
I
of the.
do. It
They
was
took the
bad.
spike out of their thing, and started stabbing him in the head with it and
Oh
everything.
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. I
Nah.
remember that, but it
Uh
my
Probably one of the most
purse. Oh,
vicious
go ahead.
ones. Hold on, let me give one more. Probably the most vicious one that I remember is when Eddie Guerrero turned on Rey Mysterio Jr. Poor Ray actually like either that or the Batista one because everybody just beat the shit out of poor Ray.
Beat the shit out
I
of
know.
Ray. Poor Ray.
Poor, especially when he
I,
dropped him
I
on
didn't
them
realize.
like on them on the steps and shit, like the
Oh
thud and
yeah.
all that
Hmm.
shit because it was like ugh, and
Oh,
yeah, he didn't move. It was like I was like, oh my god.
It's like he
But
launched him
yeah.
into a bell and
mm.
dun.
And like one more question I got: how come most betrayals are always nut shots? They're always low blows. Right.
That was one of mine where Paul Heyman turned on Punk and Roman here recently, and both of them were nut shots.
Yep.
80% of like look at it like when people betray people, it's usually always a low blow or a nut shot. I swear to
Yep.
God. It's
Because that's
like if that
because
didn't
y'all are
China.
happen.
so easy with it. Like y'all act like you want to die when you barely get tapped. So like,
No, no, no,
fucking
no. See, that's
let's
easy
low
because you
blow
don't
that
have
shit and
none.
take
That's
you
why you say
out.
that.
Look,
See,
I'm
you
gonna
say
be
that because you
honest
don't
with you.
have any.
Eddie Murphy said it best. You don't even have to hit nuts. You can graze nuts.
Crazy.
And then you're gonna sit there like,
Yeah.
is that gonna hurt? Is that going? Oh God, yeah, that hurt.
Sure will.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that's the way it is. But no, to go to your point, if you think about it, look at China turning on Triple H, nut
That's
shot.
what I'm saying.
Nut
You
shot.
know, China turning on anybody was a nut shot. You know, it just I don't know. I don't know what it is. It's
Is that in the handbook or something? It's like if you're
I,
going to betray somebody, you got to
Like if
give
you're
them a
gonna
head
betray
shot or
somebody, it
something.
has to include a nut shot
a low
Yeah, it has to
blow
be.
from
Yeah, at least one
behind,
time.
from
Yeah,
behind.
behind. Yeah.
Because if you're
from
just a
behind.
bad,
Yeah,
because if you're a bad guy, and you're just a dirty bad guy like Ric Flair or something, you just drop down to your knees and hit them from the front.
yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
matter because people
You
already
know,
know that you're that bad.
right. That's the
But
way
it's
it's got
still
to
a low
be.
blow nut shot. It don't matter.
All right, what about
So
you, Legend?
honestly and truthfully, I'm torn because I have so many personal ones, but like the ones that I went with that were like personal, but I knew were going to be huge were one, I guess, was the first, like you were talking about with the Rockers, the first real big heel turn I remember was Andre ripping that cross and that
Oh,
shirt off of Hulk. You know, I never
Oh,
in a
yeah, I forgot
million
about that.
years thought that Bobby Heenan could get, Andre the Giant to turn on Hulk Hogan. And when he was sitting there talking and, he was like, come on, brother, what's going on, man? Why are you with him? Blah, 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 and everything. And Andre started talking and everything, and Hulk was looking down and everything. He picked his face up and said, "You look at me when I'm talking to you." I was like, oh, he's serious.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, Hulkamania may end, man. Andre's
He
going to
looked
hurt Hulk.
scared. Yeah, because he looked
Yes.
really scared. Like he was like,
Well, he did. They said he didn't mean to grab the cross and rip
No,
it.
he didn't mean to. It was a
But when he
total accident.
did, yeah, when he did, it kind of clawed him and it
Yeah,
gave him a little cut and had a little trickle of blood running down his chest. And they said that just added to the magic and everything. It was like, man, so
that's why he was scared about it or nervous about it because it just was well done, just so well done.
and I think honestly and truthfully, the Andre Hulk is what kind of I know Hulkamania was already going, but I think that launched it even further because it was like, okay, he beat the giant, he beat the unbeatable force, the immovable object, blah, blah, blah. He beat the guy that if he didn't want to lose, he wasn't going to lose, all that kind of stuff. And I think that just launched it up better. So to me, that was like my first big heel turn, that I remember that just kind of really affected me. And honestly and truthfully, the other one that really affected me was Bash at the Beach.
oh, that's the biggest one, I think.
Yeah,
Honestly.
when Hogan turned on, everybody, I just I was I remember sitting at a friend's house and her dad and her brother were watching Bash at the Beach. And I remember hearing somebody in the living room go, "What? Hulk Hogan just turned bad?" And I was like, "What? No." So I walked in the living room and I'm just like, "This ain't real. Something ain't right about this. So this is fake. Something. Something just wasn't
Mhm.
right." And then next thing I know, I was like, I got hooked back into wrestling again because there was a little, you know, 2 or 3. I was a teenager. I wasn't worried about wrestling. I was worried about running around, and, you know, so right. So, you know, at that time, you know, I didn't know really what was going on and everything, but that's what got me back into wrestling was watching that Bash at the Beach. I was like, what is going on here? I was like, Hogan is a bad guy. I was like, there's no way, you know, there's just no way Hogan is bad. He can't be bad.
Yeah, because he's always been good. Like,
right.
I mean, like, I can't remember him ever being bad except for when he, you know, he made the switch and you never thought he would. There's just some people you don't ever see as bad guys. Like, I think kind of like the John Cena is right now. I don't think you would ever think that they can go bad, but when they do go, it's like, oh my God.
But see, that's the thing with Cena's heel turn is
his ain't good though.
It's not because he's still trying to be. He's still trying to be PG. This is the thing that kills me about the John Cena thing. I just watched that Road to WrestleMania thing with his heel turn and him and Cody and everything. And he was talking about how in one of his promos, how all they can do is yell curse words and this, that, and the other. Have you watched any of his movies?
They're really bad. Some of them are pretty, yeah.
Like, okay, so here's the analogy that I've heard made.
Whose movies?
John Cena's movies.
Oh yeah, I've seen a couple.
Listen to the way he talks and everything in the movies.
I've heard. So here's like I watched The Peacemaker, and
here's the thing that I think is funny. Yeah. So you got The Rock from the Attitude Era that does Disney movies, and you got John Cena from the PG era that's doing all these R-rated stuff. It's like, what? And that's why I can't buy his promos about all the curse words and stuff like that, because man, I'm sitting here watching your movies. You're yelling, you know, curse words and sexual innuendos and stuff like that every 5 seconds in your movies, which I'm not hating on you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It just it doesn't make the promo viable. You know what I'm saying? I'm not believing what you're doing because I'm sorry, it's just not a good heel turn. It should have been done so much different, should have been done so much better. He should have been more ruthless and more aggression. Take the ruthless aggression. Well, that's what I'm saying. Take that and work with it on the dark side. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to come out and attack anybody I want to, run them over with a car, whatever. Ruthless aggression. I'm going to show y'all real ruthless aggression. Blah, blah, blah. I think it would have been better.
Well, speaking of that particular heel turn, have you all watched Unreal on Netflix yet?
No, not yet.
I've watched a couple episodes.
Okay, well, that would help explain that situation more. But by the way, that's a great series. I recommend for anybody to watch it.
See, a lot of people are giving it a lot of crap because they're saying it's like they're saying it's a platform for Triple H just to say, look at me, look what I've done. You know what I'm saying? It's an advancement of Triple H and everything, and not the talent itself and everything is what they're saying.
I don't think so. I think it shows more of what everybody, not just Triple H, but everybody in Gorilla and what all they do in order to make the show work.
I didn't get the feeling. Crazy. I didn't get the feeling at all that it was just, okay, look at me, I'm Triple H, this is what I've done. I didn't get that feeling at all.
Good. I'm glad somebody else felt that because I didn't. I didn't feel that at all.
But I mean, there's like you were talking about earlier, with the heel turns, there's Triple H and Shawn. You know what I'm saying? We got, we got teased with a reunion. Like you said, he tossed him the shirt, and boom, next thing you know, he brought the even though it was seen a mile away, the Mega Powers imploding. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was like, it sucked because like it was like, okay, who can stop this force? You know what I'm saying? With the Mega Powers together, then there's something that Andre and Ted DiBiase can't buy, and they can't stop the Mega Power Force, blah blah blah. And then next thing you know, boom, I see the jealousy in your eyes, Hulk. What are you talking about, brother? I know it. Miss Elizabeth, straight from Kentucky. Shout out.
A lot of it also was, there was a lot of coincidence, because I think didn't Hogan like accidentally like eliminate him from the Royal Rumble or something like that, and then there was he was checking on Miss Elizabeth, and that kind of.
Oh no, that was during Saturday night's main event.
Oh, was that Saturday night?
Yeah, because they were taking on the Twin Towers, Boss Man and Akeem, the African Dream.
Yeah.
That was terrible. Did you know that was a total rib towards Dusty Rhodes?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because instead of the American Dream, he was Akeem, the African Dream. Like, what? It makes no sense. It's stupid. Let's just keep him the one-man gang. The one-man gang and the big boss man teaming up, a corrupt cop and a gang member teaming up, made more sense as a tag team.
Yeah.
Than, the other incarnation with the African Dream guy. I'm like, whatever. This is terrible. And then him over here just doing all this the whole time. I'm like, what is that? It's just terrible. It was horrible. But yeah, it was during Saturday night's main event during a tag team match where like somebody went flying through the ropes or something and hit Elizabeth. I think it was Macho Man, and Hulk like picked her up, took her to the back and everything. Yeah. Yep. I remember all that. But I mean, and see, that's the thing. There's like so many, there's so many great. I was looking through and everything. There's like tons and tons of.
Well, like they seem to have like the same ones as the top three. Of course, Hogan was number one, and then two seemed to always be either one or two. They kind of switched them out. Was Stone Cold and Vince McMahon? When
right,
Stone Cold changed. Now, Stone Cold was part of a lot of good heel turns. My favorite, of course, is the Bret Hart one, where he passed out and all the fans got behind him and shit,
right?
That type of shit. And Bret was the bad guy.
They done a double turn right there.
Yeah, that shit kind of pissed me off because I was still a Bret Hart fan. I don't give a fuck what. I was like, no, that's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit.
And I don't feel like the Montero screw job was really a heel turn. I thought because to me it was real. Like heel turns are stories that were written. Yeah, this wasn't a written story. This was pretty much real life.
I tell you a heel turn that doesn't get talked about a lot. And besides, honestly, there's a lot of heel turns that like from the AWA and NWA back in the day and stuff and everything that just we don't talk about and everything. There's just not. I've noticed there's not a whole lot of information. You have to really dig to get information on like the AWA and the NWA, like the search engines. When you go to search stuff, it is really flooded with WWE information. And it's almost like the WWE's history is the only history that really matters. And I hate that because it's not. You know what I'm saying? There's so many great rivalries and heel turns and stuff like that throughout all, the other ones and everything too. But one that and it is a WWE one, but one that I don't think anybody saw coming either was Owen Hart turning on Bret.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying? I
kind of figured you would bring that up and shit. And then...
Well, no, because I mean, it was just because honestly and truthfully, I think that was one of the best rivalries of that time. Just because I think it was written good, Bret knew how to work and for all the flack I give Bret and everything, it's obvious Bret's one of the greatest ever, and he had a great mind for the business. And if stuff didn't make sense, it didn't make sense. Did he get a little not jealous, but selfish towards the end of his WWE run? Yes, the whole crybaby, I can't lose in front of my hometown crowd stuff. Get out of here. That's crybaby.
So funny because I agree with both of you on both people. It's so funny.
That poor man got shit on.
I'm not saying
he had the opportunity to not get shit on.
That's it. All
Like
he
I
had to
said,
do, all he had to do was agree to drop the title. But he was like,
Vince
"Man,
was scared. Like I said, but like I said, Vince didn't trust him
okay,
because
so
Vince
what?"
was afraid that people were going to do to him what he had done to other people.
But
It's kind of fucked up when the when the prey got the gun. And you're
but
like, oh no,
it is. But at the end of the day, he should have done business, just dropped the title. But
exactly.
his
No,
one concern was, I don't want to lose
he was
in front
looking
of
out for the
the
same thing
Canadian
Vince was
crowd,
himself. He
and
was looking out for himself like Vince was looking out for himself. So I don't fault the man because everybody was looking out for
I,
themselves. Like I
but
said.
you got to do what's best for the company and the business.
No, no, fuck that shit. That company wasn't work. He was leaving that company. He didn't care about that
To
company.
go
The company
make
was
millions,
exactly,
to do
exactly.
nothing, to do nothing.
He couldn't help it. He got hurt. Who knew he was gonna get kicked in the face
No,
by fucking
dude,
Goldberg?
they didn't use him right even in the beginning
I
in the
I agree. I
WCW.
agree. I
He
definitely
should
agree.
have
Like I said,
come in tag teaming up with Sting, and Sting and him ending the NWO together, because they could have used the fact that they both use the same move. They blah blah blah. They could have used. He could have been the superstar because nobody was buying Luger. Nobody. The only other guy that people were buying at the time that was able to fight the NWO was DDP,
yeah.
and he was mostly mid card stuff and everything. Beating people like that. The biggest, I think, Macho Man did the job for him, which was cool and everything. But they could have brought Brett in and done, him and Sting taking out the NWO finally for good.
I wouldn't
Blah
have
blah
believed that
blah.
shit. That wouldn't
I
have been
would have.
believable to me. I wouldn't have believed like you got just look
I would have believed
because
it myself.
Sting's whole persona was like, I'm a one man gang. I'm the Crow. I just pop in, pop
Yeah, but
out.
look, as soon as all
I
that was
hit you
over
with a
with, he was
bat. No.
joining
Beat
the
anybody.
NWO. He was
Well,
joining
that's because
groups
the
left
writing
and
was
right.
stupid. Crazy
That's
was
my
dumb. They put
point.
everybody. I
I
can't help it.
agree.
Russo did that shit.
I agree 100%. But no,
But
going back to Bret Hart, honestly and truthfully, and I found this out. This is actually crazy, and I did not know this. I got two questions for you.
yes.
What? It's a two-sided question.
Okay.
When was Bret Hart's last championship run? Not world championship, just a championship run. And what championship was it?
Intercontinental, wasn't it?
Nope.
No, because
Wasn't
he ended his career with WCW, didn't he? Didn't he go out with them when they went out?
I don't
Nope.
Because
know. I'm not very
I'm
sure.
just going to tell
I'm
you
trying to
this.
say
His last championship was in the WWF or WWE.
WWE.
Yeah.
You mean the world title?
Nope. This
What
blew
other
my
title is
mind.
it?
Huh?
This blew my mind. In
Intercon-
2010, Bret Hart
A
beat
featherweight.
The Miz for the WWE United States Championship.
When
Well, I was
fuck
one
was
off.
it? Really?
I had no idea.
The Miz?
He beat
In
Damn.
The
2010?
Miz for the WWE version of the United States Championship. There is pictures of him holding that
There was a period of time he came back then, but I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I don't remember him having a
I
match
don't remember
against
that
him.
part. Damn.
I remember him coming back. I remember him and Sean standing in the
Yeah,
ring
because they did
saying
for a
they're
while.
sorry. I remember him and
Damn.
Vince
No.
having their match at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, they had a whole thing. It
Right.
went on for like a week or two. Yeah.
Right, because he couldn't, because I remember him talking about how his insurance policy wouldn't allow him to take certain bumps and stuff like that and everything. So he basically had to
Right.
be on offense the whole time. But yeah,
Mm.
apparently I looked it up because I was in a wrestling group talking about it and everything. And I was like, when was Bret ever US champion in WWE? And dude answered 2010, and I looked it up and I was like, what? And then there's a picture of him standing there with the US belt and everything. That
I don't
ugly,
remember.
the ugly belt that they had before this one. But yeah, it's just crazy stuff, man. Yeah,
I'm
that
looking
blew
it
my
up now.
mind.
I'm over here like,
If you find anything, read it out.
hold on.
Give out the information to the fans.
Bret Hart's last title. But
But yeah, I have to say that like a personal rivalry that, you know, really hit me was, I think one that people overlook a lot too was when Luger was sending all the boxes to Sting. Like when Ravishing Rick Rude first got to WCW, he challenged Sting for the US title. And that night on Clash of the Champions, Luger brought out a box. It was the final box that was going to reveal who was bringing them out. Well, the people coming out of the boxes were like Cactus Jack and Abdullah the Butcher. And they were just coming out of these boxes. And they were attacking Sting. Well, Luger had won the world title against Barry Windham at Great American Bash because Flair had vacated the title going to WWE. So I guess Luger's idea was he was trying to keep Sting off of his trail. Well, that night at Clash of the Champions, Sting was to take on Rick Rude for the U.S. title, and the reveal of the final box came out. Well, they brought out the box. It was like this big, you know, one of them things you ride in. I don't know what you call it, but people carry it with, you know, on their shoulder and everything. Well, it opens up and Medusa comes out. And she's over there, you know, rubbing on Sting and this, that, and the other. And she gets him turned around, and Luger comes out of the other side of the box thing and comes up and clips Sting's bad knee that he just had repaired a couple of years, you know, whatever before because of the Horseman and everything, you know, all that stuff and everything. He really did have a legit injury, but it wasn't because of the Horseman. But he clipped him and so on and so forth. He lost the U.S. title, blah, blah, blah. Ends up, you know, challenging Luger for the world title at Super Brawl and beating him. And then Luger left and went to the WWE after that. That's whenever the Lex Express started.
Yeah.
All that great stuff.
That's when he was juicing again.
He was the wrong guy for that. He was definitely the wrong guy for that. But like I said, man, there's so many great rivalries, and it's just hard to dig up that information, you know, from the NWA, from the AWA. Like I was struggling to come up with other stuff besides just, again, WWE stuff.
Well, I think it's probably has a lot to do with the time, you know what I'm saying? They were 70s, 80s, you know, they probably didn't have television deals. They probably didn't, you know, get to record or, you know, do records like a lot of people do now, you know, everything is digital, you know, everything is recorded nowadays and stuff. Back then, you know, they might not have been able to do television. And if they did, that could have been lost. That could have been bought up by somebody else. It could be sitting in a fucking warehouse somewhere and, you know, collecting dust that nobody knows about. It could be caught up in a legal transaction or people fighting over the shit. Who knows?
Probably.
Or WWE could have bought the shit and put it in a box somewhere, and it's like, nope, you're just gonna watch our shit from now on.
Right?
You never know.
Nah,
I mean,
it's crazy though. But doing my research, I found one with from Memphis Wrestling with Jerry Lawler and oh man, who was it? Can't remember right offhand now, but like from what I've heard, man, I've got to go back and try to find some footage because from what I've heard, Memphis Wrestling was where it was at. Because
was that like the one that Jim Cornette ran or whatever?
No, that's the one that Jerry Lawler and Jerry Jarrett and all them had. It basically turned into the USWA. And all that stuff and everything at the end, but Continental Wrestling and stuff like that. They were basically the territory that ran in Lexington.
Oh, okay.
So they, you know, and then I think Lenny Poffo, not Lenny Poffo, Macho Man's dad, can't think of his name, Angelo Poffo. He ran shows out of Lexington too. And because like that's where Macho Man got his start, and then Macho Man and Leaping Lenny Poffo got their start or something to that effect, and then that's how they kind of got into the Memphis territory. But yeah, Memphis Wrestling like supposedly had some of the best storylines. It's like it was a precursor to what modern wrestling is. with the storylines, heel turns, and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go back and do some watching
Was that
on
before
that.
the like the Jim Crockett type deal, or was that around the same time?
Same time.
Okay.
Because like Memphis done a lot of business with the AWA.
Okay.
Like I know there was a point in time whenever Jerry Lawler was the AWA world champion. And like I want to say he refused to give the belt back or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the whole story on that was or something to that. I want to say that's what it was. Don't quote me on it. But yeah, it's I love a good heel turn, you know, especially one you don't see coming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Any ones that you didn't see coming that that really shocked you, that you were like, oh man, I never thought they were gonna.
Trying to think. I didn't see Seth Rollins turning on the Shield. I
Kevin
didn't see
Owens,
that.
his
Ambrose seemed
original
like he was the
turn
one that was
on.
gonna turn and stuff instead of Seth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
I didn't
very true.
see Jeff and Matt splitting up the way that they did.
So
Trying to think. Other ones that I just didn't see come. Hogan, of course.
okay, everybody.
Nobody saw Hogan coming,
Yeah.
you know, with the NWO.
What about the Vince Stone Cold? Did you see that coming, or did you have
I didn't, but it also,
The other way around.
I think, well, no, I just thought that, well, to an extent, yeah, I guess so. But I mean, it was like, I don't know, around that time, whenever the whole invasion thing was happening and, you know, all that stuff, it was just, to me, it was a lot of bad writing. And it was just kind of grasping at straws at the time because it was right after they had, you know, fired Russo and stuff. And Russo was over in WCW killing it. And I don't mean that in a good way. I literally mean killing the company. But, you know, I don't know. And I ain't saying Russo's the only one that killed the company, but he helped it. But I tell you a heel turn that could have been good. I don't know if it was even a heel turn. It was just a turn. I guess it kind of was a heel turn, but it shouldn't have happened the way it happened. It could have been a good turn and another good dupe on their part, but the way they did it was stupid. Was the finger poke of doom.
Oh,
that was stupid. You know what I'm saying? If they wanted to rejoin, you know, the NWO back together, they could have done it, and it would have been good. You know what I'm saying?
Was that really like a heel turn though? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Well, because it brought the good guy Wolf Pack back in with the Hollywood side, the bad guys. So it kind of was a heel turn because he just laid down, let him beat him, and we're all friends again. Yay! It's just, I don't know. It was a heel turn that just so there you go. There's a question for you. What heel turns, you know, while we got a few minutes left and everything, what heel turns do you think shouldn't have happened?
Ones that I didn't like. I'll let the Vipers go first.
I don't know because I didn't think about that. So.
All right, because I got a small list. Like I said, the only ones that I really didn't like was, of course, the Eugene one for obvious reasons and shit. Because a special needs guy kind of attacking somebody, and I didn't like when Daniel Bryan. I know this might bother you, Carrie. Joined the Wyatt family. I didn't care for that much.
It was weird.
Yeah,
I didn't like it.
It was weird. It was almost as weird as Randy joining the Wyatts.
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
Yeah,
so I agree with that. No, I agree with that.
Those are probably my biggest two right off the rip that I can think of, just because, like I said, the whole Eugene, I'm obviously special. And then I'm trying to think. There was one more I have, but I can't think off the rip. What about you, Legend?
I think one that really stands out to me that just shouldn't have happened, because one, he should have just been a good guy his entire career. But no, well, that one shouldn't have
Hogan.
happened.
Hogan,
But no,
of course.
no, not even Hogan. Sting.
Oh.
When Sting turned heel towards the end of WCW and they tried to push bad guy Sting,
Mm.
it fell
Mhm.
flat. Nobody
Yeah.
buys Sting as a
Yeah,
bad guy.
nobody. Yeah, he's been too long and shit. Now,
Right.
I agree with you.
Sting could have been bought as a bad guy if he would have disappeared like he said he was going to, and then come back and not join the NWO, but took Hogan out and took over leadership of the NWO. You know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
could have been a good heel turn, or just having Sting turn heel instead of Hogan. That would have been the best time or chances to turn Sting heel when the company's going down. To turn the franchise player to try to get some ratings is not the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's why it was done. That's just one that stands out to me that just shouldn't have happened. There was no need to it. And I don't, and honestly and truthfully, to harken back the Stone Cold Vince McMahon, it didn't need to happen. There was too much money still on the table.
Didn't like
Right.
it.
I just didn't buy it. You know what I'm saying? How do you go for 3 years of this dude just wrecking everything you try to do, and the boss trying to wreck everything you do, to okay, we're buddies now. Let's kind of like the finger poke of doom. It did make sense. We're all friends again all of a sudden for whatever reason. So what about you, Carrie? Any that you know of that shouldn't have happened?
No, I can't. I didn't even think about it that way. So I'm not sure. I just was. If I had thought about it, I would have been like, "Wait a minute. What are some that?"
Honestly, the question just hit me. Thinking about it.
Right. No, I get it.
I was
I
just
wish
like,
I would have thought of that.
Right, because I was like, what's another way to look at this? It's just, because I mean, there's just so many heel turns that are, like I said, that we don't stop and think about, that were, so many years ago. Well, I'm saying we don't stop think about. I'm meaning me and Uncle Slam here, because we know you don't stop and think about the '80s.
Last couple of years, no, I was a baby.
Little baby.
It's just like me. I may have hit the '70s, but I don't think about the '70s. I don't remember much about them. I hit them by a couple of years, but it's just, I don't know. There's so many good heel turns that tried to do a little light episode and everything, get everybody's mind off of the Hulkster and everything else going on. Like I said, the wrestling lottery hitting that lady, and then all this other stuff going on in the world today. So we figured we'd tackle heel turns, and I think we would all agree that probably the biggest heel turn that ever happened was the Hulkster, and
always
doing his thing. Yep. I mean, it's funny how it always kind of comes back around to him, you know what I'm saying? But he's the reason why wrestling is what it is today, period. I can't say that there's any other person, yes, there were other people that took it to different stratospheres, but he was one that, basically paved the way for people like The Rock and Stone Cold and everything to do everything that they did later on down the road. But heel turns aside, man, that was definitely one that rocked the entire wrestling world. Because,
for sure.
But again, there's so many good ones, like I said. I think they hit. I would like to see in closing if there. So let me ask you that question in closing, since we're getting ready to get out of here. Is there a heel turn you would like to see happen here soon from anybody in the business?
Not offhand. I mean, I think, of course, like I said, I predicted that, Sami Zayn's going to go bad. Cody Rhodes is eventually going to go bad. I think that
I want bad
Rhea,
Cody Rhodes.
I think Rhea is going to turn on, what's her face? I can never think of it.
Right. Yes, guy, yeah.
Yeah. So, but not any that I want to see. Those are just the ones I think might happen.
I want to see the Cody one. I want to see what he can do in the WWE as a bad guy. because I think
Yeah,
that
me
would be.
too.
I
Oh,
think that
he's
would.
he's their top person. If he's a bad guy, he can't do all the crap that he already does for them.
This is true, but I
It's
mean, I
very
think
true. They won't let him do it if he's a bad guy.
the problem is they're going to have to prop somebody else up in his position as the
And
good
who
guy.
is there? Nobody.
Well, the only person there is Roman, and Roman's not a full-time character anymore. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, they're going to have to get somebody else up in there, but that's one I would like to see. But yeah, guys, if there's any I don't think I have anything else. Do you guys have anything else?
Nope. Unfortunately, I'm
Well,
it's a wrap.
ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, if you all have any opinions on heel turns and stuff like that that you guys would like to talk about, you know, give us some suggestions on your favorite heel turns, you know, ones that you think shouldn't have happened, should have happened, all that good stuff. And once again, we hope you guys enjoy SummerSlam. We're definitely going to try to and everything, but we will see you all next week. If everybody else hasn't got anything, then I guess we will ring the damn bell.